Um, so is anyone, I know we're recording. Is anyone running this meeting or is there any agenda to it? I know
I have,
you were on call yesterday.
yes, I was on the call yesterday. I don't know. I assume the community always appoints somebody to be the host to these things. Like I said,
Okay,
I'm assuming, but I think they would probably appoint a host to these meetings.
okay. And I'm guessing that's not PHKL.
If it's not like if you notice the one we had yesterday, the host has the host tag there. So
Okay,
maybe we should
No,
mention it to
it's
the.
not. It's not me. I'm not hosting the meeting. So
Okay. Do we
okay,
have to make it in community, like in a group, in the Discord that we are awaiting the host?
okay. That makes sense. And so this is the contributors meeting, and is there anyone besides us four that is going to attend, do you think? Or does anyone know?
Pardon? Come again?
So is this are are we the is there anyone else that's going to attend as far as anyone here knows?
I think people that it's an open call, so anybody can join if they want to. We don't know until we see more.
Okay. Well, it's 5 minutes and no one's joined.
Yeah.
So I will say no one, if someone pops in, we can
I think we should just mention it. I think I'll mention it in the group in the channel for the Fabric code contributor. I think that's the channel responsible for this meeting. I will tag the Discord server owner that we are currently in the meeting. We are awaiting the post. So I will try to check what he will say concerning it.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'll do that now.
Great. Thank you. So are Giwa or PHKL, are either of you contributors? Do either of you code
oh,
Yes, I
I'm,
with
I'm
could.
just
Hyperledger?
I'm
I
just
do.
new to the I'm just new to the game. I wanted
Okay.
to check what's going on. I might come in the coming meeting with some stuff, but not at that point. So
I code. I
Okay.
do code. In fact, I have a standing question regarding the contribution I'm about to make, and I'm not getting any reply. That was why I wanted to be on this meeting, hoping I will meet people that would assist me.
Yes. And then so do you remember yesterday, Giwa, he was talking about, I forgot his name. It starts with an M. Um, he was talking about TOC, the
Yes,
and that's tomorrow, I believe.
yes,
And
that's
I
tomorrow.
I think, if it's just going to be us four and none of us four have contributed before, um, it's going to be tough for us to do because me and Braden, we know each other. Um, but if none of us have actually contributed to this project and we're the only ones here, it's going to be tough to do. I mean, I haven't contributed. I was going to just sit in and listen. So,
Okay.
do you have go ahead.
Yeah. I think you are right. Well, how long do you think we should wait? I'm trying to reach to reach the Discord owner server on the general page to see if we would say anything concerning it. I think we can give you a break of, I don't know, till 20 minutes into the meeting or 15. If you can't see anything, maybe we can call it a day.
Okay.
What do you think?
Um, Well, maybe, yeah, I think if no one's here, it's probably best for us to call it a day. Go to TOC tomorrow. I might be interested to hear what your use case for Hyperledger is, Giwa, or PH, what brought you here. And I can tell you guys, what we're thinking of. But if no one's here to actually, none of the contributors are actually here, it's going to be tough for us to get some
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell you, I started a project working with the Fabric, okay, a couple of months ago. Unfortunately, I cannot share details, okay, at that point.
Yes.
But I've been, I start, just to give you a few of the feedback, I start, really this project. It's a proof of concept, probably 7 months ago, with no knowledge whatsoever about the Fabric. So I went to all the all the issues, and actually I have a proof of concept working, that I'm expanding
Nice.
now. But unfortunately, my company policy doesn't allow me to share it because it's really R&D, at that point.
I understand.
But it has to do with the it's the really it's a novel way of using the characteristic of the Fabric to
The
keep
what? The what of the
it's
Fabric?
the fact that Fabric provide immutable records, okay, that can be distributed amongst multiple stakeholders.
Yes.
Let's say it this
And
way.
so
Okay. So it's we have a bunch of stakeholders, and they share some resources, and we want to keep, a record of whoever deal with this resource. Okay. So yes, it's not financial. It's nothing to do with the okay, but it's totally technical.
So it's just records. And I understand this because I see, when you look at Fabric, it's a distributed ledger. It doesn't need to be transactional based. So
absolutely. You can consider that everything you do with these resources is a transaction. Without
Yes.
going into the detail. But what I was really interested in, and I don't know, you guys, you have been working more than me. I think one of the of my big issues has been more the documentation and the unclearness sometimes of the documentation than anything else. So I was fortunate enough because I had some contact with some IBM guys, who gave me some hints,
Yes.
okay, when I was looking for. But there was a couple of things that are not really straightforward, and I have 40 years of experience now of writing codes, so it's not that
Wow.
I'm a new guy, okay? But sometimes after you a lot of stuff, I don't know how it was for you, but it was real trial and errors, okay, in order to figure out how it works, because sometimes really the documentation. It's a lot of new concept on one side, but on the other side, I think that the online documentation sometimes was very, very difficult to grab. I
agree. And what do you think about that? Like how difficult it is?
To give you a bit of my experience, I've been working, years with.
For me, I think regarding the documentation, more work should have been put in examples, like more work. The FABCA example is quite, it's not doing justice towards the whole entire system.
It's very difficult to grasp.
I can give you a very example, for example, about the policies. Okay, all the policy chapter was very hard to understand. Now that I understand it very well, the spec become clear. Okay, but the concept, some of the concept, I can give you an example. I'm struggling.
Yes,
I have issue with the policy because I was using the admin OUs. Okay, no, the OUs instead of using the peer. So until I realized, that all the stuff about admin and who is managing the network, etc., etc., is hard to grab at first. Something that as simple as, oh, I want one of the member of the network, okay, to be the one controlling the network. So he's the one adding chain code, and he's the one who define policy. Now it's very clear for me, but reading the spec, it was absolutely unclear. And in fact, I found the solution in one of the forum. Okay, looking at the forum because somebody has the same issue, But my experiences, I've been working for years now on IEEE spec, so I know a little bit about writing specs. And one of the things that we did in IEEE was very aware of being that if somebody read a spec, the elements are well defined. You do not whatever you write as well defined, and the spec should be understood by two people writing the same spec and understanding exactly the same thing. So I'm not judgmental. Okay, at that point. Okay, I'm just sharing my own experience. About the.
That makes sense, and I agree completely. It really matters, and it doesn't make much sense, and it's hard to grasp. And I mean, if you have 40 years of experience, not many people can grasp policies the way that you can grasp them.
Yeah, and sometimes it's frustrating, because you are looking for something and it's not totally clear. So it will be it will make a lot of sense, maybe to think about this way. Okay, you are talking to a new buyer, and what's happening. Because there is a lot of concept that you have to grab by yourself. Again, when you understand them, it's easy. Okay, and each time I read the document again and again, after discovering something, it's become clearer. Okay, but well, it was not an easy journey at first to fully grab, and the fact that we have a working prototype in 6 months was a lot of work.
I agree.
I don't even understand it at all. The policy part, I have not touched it. It was hard to use. I've just left it outside. I've not. Something I discovered was that the Linux Foundation have a program where they teach these things, a paid program. I discovered that there is that.
I think that the spec is very clear, about the details. Okay, it's okay. But what is missing, I think, is probably, some overall to grab, the scheme or the architecture and so on. Because as I tell you, if you look at the spec, it's not clear to understand very rapidly, for example, that what is the role. Okay, that if you have an endorsement, is only is run by peer. This is clear now. But then obviously the policy has to be run. In the policy, the rules, okay, are for peers and not for admin. Because in a certain sense, admin is a little bit misleading, because admin apply both to each members, and not necessarily to the entire network. So once you understand it, it's clear. But at first, it's the administrator role, it's misleading, because it's different than what in other networks. So I'm just saying that maybe some introduction or some very good. I mean, it's again, it's obvious once you are used to. But it's not obvious when you read the spec for the first time, and this is what I'm trying to say.
And I think by the spec you mean the Hyperledger,
the online documents.
Fabric.
Documentation.
Okay, I have to be clear. Maybe the spec was a different document. Is it the VD Docs, the online documentation from VD Docs, or there is something else?
I'm talking about this one. Yeah.
Which one?
The latest, even the latest one,
Okay, from VD Docs.
Yeah, and sometimes it's also there is a lot of version on the multiple version
Yes.
on the web, and sometimes you read
2.2,
something and you say
2.5,
yeah, and sometimes
1.4.
absolutely sometimes you read something and you say, oh, but it's different than what I read before, and then you realize that it's not exactly the same version and so on. So sometimes you get completely confused by the by the different version, because you go into the form, and there is a link, and then you have to be careful. Oh, hold on, because this has to do with version 2. It's even not between version 1 and 2. It's relatively simple. But even within the minor of version 2, there is some differences between the different versions. And
Yes.
so when you go to in a document like IEEE and so on, there is also a way to get the spec with the traces, with the changes. So you can easily see where the changes are. But because there was always a version with the trace of the previous version, which is not here in the documentation. So sometimes it's really you have to you have to compare two versions to understand what the change are. It's not it's really time consuming.
Also, I think the test network is not very good.
No, exactly. Yes.
I think it's a really bad place to start.
Yeah, because one of the example I can give you, obviously the test network, is very generic, so it works very, very rapidly. But then, for example, the fact that the default is majority, can give you confused in some, because when you use which is majority with member, obviously you cover everything. You know it's the most common way to make sure the system works. But then you don't have you don't know exactly if you need something else. As I said, just having one member to be the controlling member of the essentially the initiator of the network, and the controlling member of the network doesn't make it. It's not obvious from the test network, because there we are just working with the most generic way of implementing default policies. I get what you see, because one of the things that I've been working on, and sorry for the noise, I'm just commuting. But and obviously, I had to use my experience to figure out, what it was about. And I'm thinking it might be a barrier for some people, who want to start a project with on Fabric.
I think so too. And the thing is, for me, is that setting up the network is the barrier. Writing chain code is pretty not simple, I think. And I don't know how you feel about that, but setting up
chain code was the easy for me. Chain code was the easy part, because Go is a simple languages and so on, and it was okay. But as I said, think about just something like you want to control, who can access the chain code, and who can load the chain code and so on. Okay, it's not, as I say, all this management part, is not obvious. What is not obvious either is the separation between CLI, what is based on CLI and what is based and what is really the inner the inner PC network, PC channel.
I don't understand.
You have the CLI on one side, with the peer commands and so on, and then you can have the gateway above, and etc. So sometimes it's quite difficult to understand, what is part of the CLI, what is part of the command itself, like peer commands and so on, and what is the chain code. Obviously now it's obvious for me, and when you read it from the first time, there is a lot of layers. I'm sorry, I may be confusing. There is a lot of layers in the architecture of the of a blockchain, system altogether. It's not totally obvious at first to understand all the different layers. You understand what I'm trying to say? Oh,
yes.
if you want to build a blockchain system, an application of a blockchain system, okay, you can do it in several ways. You can go. I'm using Go, so I'm talking about the gateway. Okay, you have it at the you have API, at the gateway level, but you have also, all the initialization first, which start with, for example, with peer and the peer commands, and etc. etc. So it was at first it was not totally clear for me, how you initiate the networks, how you start it. And
yes, I understand what you mean.
Okay, again,
yes.
once you know it, and you did it, it's clear. But at first, it's the separation. If you want to know the architecture, who belongs to what, is not totally clear. At first.
Can I ask a question, PH?
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been at this? Because it looks like you've really gotten a good grasp of the whole entire architecture. How long have you been at it? Because everything you're saying right now it's dazzling me. At this point, I'm just in shock.
I think PH, you said you've been working on this for 7-8 months. You have,
yes.
Or
wow.
And then
okay,
I've been here for 4 months.
I would say 2 or 1 for myself. 1 or 2, maybe 2, or like fully 1. Wow, 8 months is long. So are you saying that you have products that you are integrating with Hyperledger, or you are building a product around this now?
I think that my impression is I just scratched the the surface.
Yes.
Again, it's very I mean, in other words, maybe I can say it differently. It's relatively simple to start the test example, and to get it to work. Okay. But then it doesn't do anything. Yeah, you didn't understand. You didn't understand anything. You follow up, okay, and you say that you're able to run a transaction. You're able to use a CatchDB. Very very nice. So what? Okay, so I haven't touched yet a lot of. I'm far away, for production. For production, in other words, I can run a proof of concept very very quite easily. Okay. But between the proof of concept and the production, okay, wow, I know that I'm far away.
Well, the Hyperledger is deployed on Amazon AWS, and so I don't know how far into production. So you've been using your proof of concept in a test network?
I read the test network and I rewrote totally, all my own network. My network is different than the test network. And as much as I learn about it, but there was a lot of stuff that I haven't touched. Like what's going on when you have a node failure, etc., etc. It's really a simple proof of concept, because as I said, the novelty was more in the way we use the fabric than the fabric itself. But, I mean,
like how you're using it for non-financial transactions.
Yes. Or I haven't tested yet the redundancy, because I have only one peer per stakeholder for the time being. I haven't touched performance yet.
Is it already in production?
No, it's not. Again, I'm working on R&D, so the production, I mean, I have to come with guidelines with the people who will eventually, use it for production. So for me, it's a lot of. I have to discover everything, on my own, so I can come with guidelines when the people will.
And just, I mean, I agree. I don't know how you feel now after your months of use. Once you grasp it, I still, I won't pretend like I've grasped it totally. Creating the channel, I can, create with the config TX, that I don't necessarily understand very well, but it doesn't, like I said before, the chain code deployment, and once you find a way to bring it to production, which isn't easy at all. Do you like Hyperledger Fabric?
Oh
Or do
yeah,
you think
the only thing I haven't touched yet. No, I like it because it's really answer a couple of issue I wanted to solve. But one of the things, for example, I haven't checked yet the performance. And performance and scalability could be in my case, okay, could be an issue. But I know that there is a lot of stuff where you can tweak the performance and so on. But I'm not yet
I think that's what Apalaja Khalifa, big Caliphate, so Khalifa does. It's like a metric of performance testing thing for the architecture. When I was reading the docs, it says that now Fabric can handle close to 2 to 5,000 transactions per second. I don't know how true those numbers are.
No, I check. I can check performance, and I did it. But the I keep it for the time being. We are more in the implementation, some new functionality and so on to around that leverage, some of the knowledge you already have. But I think that, as I said, it seems that. I don't know. You have better experience that I have, and the number of people who are using, the Fabric. But as I said, it will be very, very. It will give a good service to Fabric if the spec was a little bit more.
Very much.
Or the documentation straightforward, especially not about the details, because again, there was a lot of details there. But
too many details.
To the point, okay, there is a lot of details which are not structured well enough,
Yes.
so that so you have to scratch your head, a lot of time just to understand what's the.
I would like to be at the meeting tomorrow to really hear what the contributors. I would like to hear them really. I feel like maybe they don't get this feedback that the system is very, very hard to get around, and they have to do a lot more to help us starting at it to be easier. I want to ask a question also. Do you find these the videos they have these on YouTube? They have these session videos. Do you find them helpful? There's this Apalaja channel, and they have I think calls like these are recorded sometimes, and then they have them on YouTube. Have you found them useful? Have you seen them at all before?
I've seen them. I haven't really watched them.
Okay, I've not seen. I tried watching one. It was not not too good. It was not too good.
No, I think there's a lot of I'm gonna guess PH the same. You have to go through things and test but
I think there is it's a problem of the spec in somehow is not structured well enough, in a sense that you really don't have a kind of top down, okay, at some point. So you have, as I said, you have to it's not difficult, but it's more about exactly what I said. I think the spec take for granted a lot of knowledge that you must have, and therefore it's it's a little bit confusing at first.
I think so too. And going to what you said, there's a meeting tomorrow, PH. And I think that would be. You don't have to attend, but that would be. It seems it's called the TOC at 8, and I think it.
I will try to get into more. I will try to find out.
I will try to get into, definitely. I want to ask a question from Rush. So did I pronounce the name correctly?
Yes, that's good. Correct.
Okay. Correct. You said you're a code contributor already?
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm an implementer.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind, but you know, I just want to see what the state of the
Okay.
what the state it is. I haven't
Okay.
contributed any code.
Okay. But you code. You said you do you.
Yes. Yes. I mean I've
Yeah.
written a
I don't
you
know.
know, I haven't
I think we use this kind of calls to get familiar with ourselves. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh
Go ahead.
you know,
Listen to you.
I have production, not production, but you know, we have a network set up and you know, members defined and smart contracts deployed onto peer nodes. Right now, working on getting it connected to a front end. But you know, this is I agree. I like Hyperledger, and once you understand, you know, Fabric, and right now Amazon is only on 2.2. They're not on 2.5, so they're still on the SDK and they're not on Gateway.
Mhm.
But you
Have
know,
you
once you
checked?
use
Have you
it,
checked IBM?
IBM, I haven't deployed. I have talked to IBM, but I haven't the
No,
Cloud
but
CLI.
IBM should have
yeah,
a far more reach because I think IBM was the first pioneer of the idea. I think IBM has been a huge supporter of.
no, but be careful. I mean, you make one error here. You know, obviously, you know, for production and so on, you can go to one of the tools, whatever it's IBM, you know, or AWS and so on. But like for me, you know, when you do, you have to really do validation to see if Fabric, you know, is the tools, you know, that you want to use from the functional standpoint and everything. You know, you have to know you have to know the internals. Okay, it's not good enough to know to say, oh, I'm using, you know, an API valve and so on, because, you know, if you run to something which is an issue, you will not be able to understand, you know, what's going on and why you have an issue. So I agree with you, you know, at some point, you know, it's you might not use the you might not want to use, you know, the your own front end or whatever you want to use, you know, some existing tools. But when you are asked, you know, to validate first of all, you know, the concepts and the architecture, you cannot be too high, you know, on the food chain. You know, you really have to understand, you know, part of the of what's going on, you know, under the
That makes
I would,
sense.
I would like that there's a way we familiarize ourselves with ourselves now. Maybe you can drop a message on the Discord channel so that I can refer to you and KI or anytime I need to ask a question, or maybe to you, Croatian, anytime I need to ask a question. Because I think that's very important. It's good that if we can know ourselves and can ask questions. Because at the community, like, I have a question on code contribution.
yeah.
Okay. That
And
sounds
nobody's
good.
replying to
Yeah.
me. It's been there and nobody's replying to me.
But I
So how
think
do you think
you
we should do that? Because I lost somebody's contact yesterday. Yeah. How do we do that?
Mhm.
Should we just drop a message in the general message?
yeah.
And
I mean, maybe, you know, I've seen, you know, I mean, even in the I just joined, you know, the mail list a couple of days ago. But if you look at the mail list, the one of the last messages was about, you know, external chain code. Somebody was asking a question about the fact that what's going on, you know, if you modify chain code, do you keep, you know, your work state, you know? The fact that people have to ask this kind of question, you know, and people say, I don't remember, I'm at the front of my computer, I'm just joining by my phone. They say, yes, no, the spec has to be a little bit clearer about that and so on. So maybe, you know, it would be good to have a group, you know, dedicated, you know, I mean, more on the
Yes.
on the spec stuff than on the on just on the technical details and so on. So
The
people
documentation.
documentation. So people who are, you know, just starting to work with the could contribute, you know, in the sense that those are the new buys. People who do not necessarily understand, you know, some part of the spectrum. Can you mention that, you know, this is not clear enough or whatever. So this is the way probably to make it work.
I think tomorrow, at the TOC would be a great place to communicate that exact issue we have with Fabric and how, if that's resolved, which is, it's not like coding up something, some crazy feature or capability. It shouldn't be too difficult. But
Yeah,
then we
I
can
think
get
it's
some moves.
it's a very intimidating, to new buys sometimes to ask some question, because you might say, oh, those questions should be straight, really straight. Why I'm asking, people will ask me why I'm asking them, and it's in fact, you realize. I mean, I can just share a very interesting experience I have. When I start, working on the on this stuff, I really have a hard time in one of the. Do not remember what was the question about, and I found I'm very close to one of the IBM center. It's turned that I was looking for somebody to answer it. I really realized quite rapidly, that it was an IBM guy. The IBM center was working, a few miles away where I stand, And then I sent the question to the guy, and I was pleased because my question was not stupid. I mean, I realized that the question I was asking, was something,
Many people struggle with.
Yeah, so it gives you, also the sense that yes, I'm not totally stupid, and I understand, what's going on here. But at first, I should say that it's a very, very difficult journey.
Yes, I agree, and it just shouldn't be. I think the documentation, the specs, that's a big hurdle, and like you said, there's a lot of details, and there's just, if we can somehow make the startup or whatever being able to deploy people's chain code so that people can write chain code much easier in a way that makes sense to them, and they can export out and create POCs real quick.
Yeah.
That would be huge for the community.
I think so.
Okay, great. Then let's, I'm gonna hope, Giwa, I think you said you can make it tomorrow, and PH
will try.
maybe.
Definitely.
Okay,
I will try. Okay.
great.
I will talk
Thank
at
you,
my
guys.
schedule because, but I will try.
I think it's just, in 20 minutes from right now, tomorrow.
Okay.
So are we
Great.
dropping username so that I can
And the link is on the link should be on the Hyperledger organization website now.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
and you can download it, you can import calendar too. It's on the
Yeah,
you can
sure.
import the calendar.
Okay.
So are we dropping the username so that for next time, so that we can, in case I miss it and I want to ask and I want to talk to you later on and like what's the feedback, because I can't be sure I will attend, but I will try to attend. But in case I miss out, I would want to know what was said there. So I don't know if Coach can give me his username on the discussion so that I can know how to reach out to you.
Let me log in. I honestly don't know my Discord name. Let me give it to you right now. I'm looking for it.
Because if you remember, I lost somebody's contact yesterday. I was supposed to screenshot it, but I forgot before they hung up the call. And up to now, I cannot reach out to the person.
Okay.
So
okay, got it.
I did mention this in the general group and on Twitter to the Hyperledger Foundation that we are expecting a host for this meeting, and nobody showed up.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else, or any other last? I think we're nearly done. Does anyone have anything before we drop?
No, thank you. Thank you for listening to me.
No, thank you for explaining.
Thanks for
For
talking.
me, it was great. It was great to have at least, you know, to find a community where I can ask questions and so on, because I've been really a little bit too much on my own.
Great, and for me too, you know, I've done it a lot alone, and like I said, me and Braden, we're on the same team, so yeah, this was very good for us as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All
Okay,
right.
bye bye.